Hello and welcome to Ingression, the only series that gives you the best tips, tricks, and information about Ingress. I am, of course, your lovable enlightened instructor, Incredible Hulk. Today we have a very special edition. This is going to cover the 8 Ingress evils. These are things that violate the Ingress terms of service. They are illegal, they are cheating, they are completely wrong, and you should never do, but some people still do them anyways, even though they are so wrong. So, big shout out to the Pony Riders. Of course, I mentioned in Fielding 201 that whoever threw the burrito field with the most MU was going to get a shout out along with the most layers. And they must be huge fans because after watching that video, Fielding 201, they threw a field that was 18 layers and had 22.5 million MU. And of course, they made sure to comment and notify me, which is great because I can't watch every bit of the intel map all of the time. So, and then they also made sure that I had seen the list of the agents' names that was associated with that. So that's perfect. It's great, because it's nice to know that it's not just one person, but the entire groups can watch and learn from these videos and become better agents because of them. So all the agents that benefited from that advice in Fielding 201 and helped throw that field are listed in the comments on Fielding 201, of course. Now on to the Ingress evils. So I want to state, first of all, you'll see this. This is the Ingress Evil Thermometer. It dictates exactly how evil something is. This is kind of a personal opinion, but it's also a community opinion. So this is going to let you kind of gauge on a scale of 1 to 10 how the community feels about this. Roughly the percentage of people probably that aren't going to be okay with whatever it is. There's a lot of things that, some people, maybe it's like a murder versus jaywalking where they don't find it quite as egregious, but they are all against the laws of Ingress. Niantic, the terms of service, please do not do any of these whatsoever. But they do obviously have various levels of how horrible and against the rules they are. So to start off with 1 out of 10 on the evil meter, that is double fisting. That is where you have 2 phones and you're playing it. This commonly is probably happening because there is a farm going on or you're out with another player and they are driving and perhaps you are playing for them while they're driving. And this is because there's laws in states against driving and using cell phones. And rightly so, it's a safety measure. However, it does violate the terms of service, even if it's for the matter of farm and for safety. It violates the terms of service until Niantic says otherwise. I'd actually love to hear their comments on this, as far as a player playing for another player in a farm that is driving, but it is against the terms of service as of now. But most people, I've yet to meet a single agent that actually has a moral problem with this as far as the game goes because it is a safety issue. But it is still against the rules. Don't do it. So, moving on to something a little bit more illegal in the community, but 100% just as illegal in the eyes of Niantic until they comment otherwise. And that is third-party apps. In case you didn't know, third-party apps are not allowed. So things like IITC, which is another Intel map, or the portal timer overlay is not allowed. IITC, essentially, people use it because it used to be quicker and it would strip out some things, and there's plugins that let you see how links would throw. Now almost a lot of those things are on the default stock Intel map, so please just use that instead. The portal overlay timer, just use the clock in your car or on your phone to see if it's been 5 minutes since you've hacked it, instead of using the timer overlay where you press hack and then it basically counts down for 5 minutes for you or whatever the burnout time is. So those are against the rules. Do not use them. Moving on to something even more egregious, that is 4 out of 10 on the Ingress Evil meter, and that is backpack/mule accounts. People call them different things, but essentially what it is there is maybe you had a friend that decided to start playing, or a family member, and they decided that they didn't want to play anymore, and you're storing items in their account. You can obviously give items to other players that are actually playing, but if you are the person touching their phone, picking up their phone, doing the things for them, that is against the rules. Once again, you're playing for another person. Do not do it. And there's a lot of people that are not okay with this. As you see, 4 out of 10, I'd say probably about 40% of agents in the field are not okay with backpacks or mule accounts. The reason people do this is to avoid the item cap issues. I'd actually really love to see, and please shoot Niantic some stuff in regards to this, because that's the way that we change the game, is by telling them what we want, a modular item cap. That is where maybe it's 500 items per level, because a level 1 player doesn't need 2,000 items, but a level 16 player is probably going to burn through that fairly fast if they're getting to level 16. So I'd love to see a modular one. The reason they introduced it originally, the item cap, was because there was server load issues when it first came out. There was no item cap, is what I've been told. There's a server issues why they instituted that by some officials of Ingress. But, you know, I think you'd be able to eliminate a lot of those mule accounts, those backpack accounts, and hopefully that would take down server load equivalent to whatever the modular cap was, and it still would be a cap. But it would help players a lot more. The other things I've heard suggested are things like a one-time payment so that they can, for higher item caps since there's no in-app purchases. But one thing, you know, maybe $5. We've all spent a lot on Ingress, so gas-wise, so $5 and it goes up or whatever. So they can help pay for more servers, but in the meantime, backpacks against the rules. Please do not do it. Next up, a 5 out of 10 on the Ingress Evil Meter, and that is win trading. What is win trading? Well, aside from trading wins, basically that is where you schedule with another player, you talk to them in person, in comms, and email, and they are the other faction. You say, hey, let's meet up at this point in time, and I'm going to go ahead and destroy this thing, and then you take it over, and then I destroy it, or conversely, and you guys trade back and forth to get points. I know it sounds like an anomaly, basically, but it's against the rules. It is not at all kosher. It's not allowed. Do not do this. A lot of players do have a problem with this, and they are not okay with this. I'd say probably about 50% of players are not okay with win trading if it is set up beforehand. If you happen to just randomly run into someone and, you know, they're trying to deploy and you keep destroying, that's a completely different matter. Obviously, that's just playing the game. But setting up with the players ahead of time to win trade back and forth is not considered kosher. It's not considered cool by a lot of people. Please do not do it. Next up, jumping up the scale a bit, is going to be pocket players. What is a pocket player? Well, remember that friend, that family member, let's say that they still play Ingress, but they are not able to go out and play with you that day or that moment, and you take their device and you play for them. Once again, that's against the rules. That's you playing as someone else. That is you playing not your account. That is against the terms of service. A lot of people not at all cool with this. It's not a 70% thing. I don't know the exact number, but it is. I'd probably say more than 70%. It's a lot of people not okay with pocket players. So don't do that whatsoever. Do not do it. And stepping up to the 8 out of 10 on the evil meter is even worse than that. So remember that backpack. That person doesn't play. Or remember that person who isn't playing and you're playing for them. Well, there's something even worse, and that is when that person didn't exist in the first place. Maybe you're schizophrenic and you thought there was someone else and you created an account for him. Maybe that still is not okay to play on that person's account. So creating imaginary people, second accounts that don't exist. Maybe it's just like you're like, oh, this is my cat Bob. He wants an account. That's not okay. Cats can't have accounts. They're not humans. I don't know if they're affected by shapers or not, but. You know, they cannot play, they cannot decide the fate of the universe. Cats are not allowed to do that. And neither are second accounts, so do not have them. A lot of people, a ton of players hate this. Please do not do this whatsoever. All of these are illegal. We're just getting into the really super egregious areas here now, where people really, they're like, oh, that's kind of like, you know, aggravated assault sort of area, where they're just like, this is not cool. There's very few reasons to even do it. You know, it's not good. So, moving on now up the line. This is one that probably 99.99999% of players are not okay with. The only reason it is 9 out of 10 is because I had to have something that was a 10 out of 10, but this is almost just as bad. This is a horrible thing. This is the use of Cerebro. This is a specialized third-party app. It'll be probably another Intel scraper in the future, but essentially what these do is Niantic took the capture dates off of portals deliberately because people were going and hunting down other people's Guardian portals that they've been taking care of for 20, 30, 50, 100, 149 days. They had been guarding this thing and just making sure it was recharged and keeping it alive, and maybe they drove to the middle of nowhere to set this up, and these people are using Intel scrapers to get around what Niantic intended, and they're going back in the comm data and violating the terms of service once again by using a specialized third-party app and violating the spirit of the game of being fair with these things, where they find it out and then it's almost, Cerebro, pretty much the only time I've heard of it being used is when someone is trying to guardian hunt and kill someone's guardian, which is just completely against the spirit of the game. Obviously, we have friendly competition in the game. We're not supposed to be going after other people whatsoever, because that would not be nice. That would make us jerks. That would make us horrible people to be destroying someone else's life deliberately. You know, and I don't think any of us would want to besmirch the Ingress name like that. And Niantic takes this very seriously, and they will go after people that they believe are doing this, and ban their accounts. You know, they'll do it with the other things as well, but especially we're getting to levels where they really ban accounts. So please do not do any of these things, but especially this one and the next, the 10 out of 10, the horrible, the evil ex-stepmother in every Disney movie that everyone hates. Spoofing. What is spoofing? That is where someone takes a program and they pretend that they are somewhere else. They alter their GPS data to say that they are at a different location, and then usually there's some automated things that go on, and basically it is a robot playing for you. The entire point of Ingress is to get out there, to go explore. It's time to move. You're not moving. You're sitting on your couch and your phone is moving and saying, hey, I'm in China this week. It's against the spirit of Ingress. I'd say the only players that really are okay with spoofing are pretty much the ones that spoof. And the reason it is so incredibly horrible is usually what's happening is it's in combination with something else like Cerebro, where someone's going to go and kill a Guardian portal. So they're not even bothering to drive to that Guardian in order to kill it. They're using all these illegal means in order to destroy someone else's game. Or same, you know, maybe they're doing it to take down a field that someone drove hours and hours to throw in the remote bit of nowhere. Or they're tossing fields that normally players would have to spend a lot of time. So they're really violating the entire spirit of Ingress as a whole. Please do not spoof. It is a horrible thing to do. Don't use Cerebro, no second accounts, pocket players, win trading, backpacks and mules, third-party apps, or even double fisting violates those the rules of Ingress as a whole. You know, none of these things are technically illegal in the real world, sadly. You know, there's also, you know, I'm glad that there's been no Ingress swatting incidences, but you know, directly. So let's go ahead and make sure there's no assignment obviously on this video aside from go out there, play fair, have some fun, and as always, if you want to make sure that you're always receiving the latest tips and tricks, just click that subscribe button. That subscribe button right there is how you get all of it. Just if you click on it, just tap on it and subscribe. It's the entire channel. I apologize. I'm probably going to be posting like weird videos telling Ed Sheeran I love him because he's coming in concert or something like that. But you can go ahead and skip past those. Just search for the videos and watch the videos that say Ingression, and that'll get you guys all set and make sure that you are always up to date and able to hopefully get some tips that can help you with your game. As always, also post your tips. I am by no means the complete expert at Ingress. I just play a lot. So if you have any tips, tricks, feel free to shoot them to me in a comments or an email, and you know, I'll make sure to credit you in the video if it's something that you said, absolutely. Or you know, comment it down below for other players to be able to see, so we can all hopefully up our game and become better Ingressors. For Ingression, I'm Incredible Hulk, aka Colin Williams.